Okay, good evening, class. How are you doing? I guess we can start now, yeah? Okay, so last class we started looking at accounting for short-term decision making, and we looked at contribution analysis, and we also looked at make or buy decision. Okay, I think we two questions on make or buy decision. So today we're going to continue with make or buy decision, and we're going to look at shut down decision, and if time permits us, we're going to look at limiting factor decisions as well. Okay. So, but before we continue with make or buy decision, can we recap on what we've done last week? Okay, can we recap? So we looked at contribution analysis last week. Yeah, someone is saying that it's not still the presentation. It's only widescreen now. We are just trying to revise. Okay, it's only widescreen now. So I've not started projecting anything. So we're just going to recap, yeah? So Mr. Jawara, we looked at contribution analysis last class. What can you tell us about contribution analysis? Your network is not very good. Can you mute yourself and try until you...
Yeah, I'm driving, sorry.
Okay, can someone help us on what we have done last week? Contribution analysis or make or buy decision, any of them? Hello, class. I hope you're hearing me loud and clear. Hello, can you hear me? Strange. Class, can you hear me? Hello? This is interesting. Basin Salah, can you hear me? Batu Drame?
Yes, Mr. Fofana. Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Fofana. We can.
Oh, wow. Okay. Just call and talk. Okay, fine. Right. So can you just say something on contribution analysis?
Yeah, sure. Even though last class, my network was like breaking through, or I did not enjoy that part. But like, yeah, like if I'm to talk about like the decision, short-term decision, yeah. And hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, Mr. Jai.
Yeah. Yeah. Last class we dealt with short-term decisions, and then we looked at two examples, and then out of them all, we just look at some of the basics that we look at when we were dealing with like make or buy. I mean, do the company do we make the product in-house or do we outsource it? Do we buy it outside? And then you said certain things that we need to look at is we compare the variable cost, all the costs that can be traced to the product while making it, like the variable cost. We compare it with the purchase price. Then that will be the basis for our decision. Do we make in-house or do we buy outside? That is, if for example, if the cost of making the product is more than, I mean, the cost of buying outside, then we should like outsource. We should buy outside. Yeah, in a nutshell, that's what we looked at.
If the cost of making is more than cost of buying outside, do we make or do we buy?
Yeah, if the cost of making, we don't have to, if the cost of making is more, we buy. If the cost of making is more, but we have to buy. The financial wise.
Cost of making is okay, good. And what cost are you talking about? Are you talking about the total cost of making versus what? What cost are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the basis. I mean, the things that we look at. We look at the variable cost, and the purchase price.
Okay, the variable cost and the purchase price. Excellent. So, in other words, the relevant cost. Okay, the example we're coming to do today, we're going to see to it that it's not only the variable cost that you look at, but you look at even fixed costs. But the fixed costs we're going to look at are relevant fixed costs. In other words, fixed costs that are directly traceable to the product. Okay, so excellent. Thank you, Mr. Jai. So actually, that's what we've looked at last week. So we started accounting for short-term decision making. Okay, and of course we said during last class that as accountants, one of our most important mandates is to advise management of any organization in decision making. So before we advise, we usually do some analysis, we do some calculations, and we interpret it and advise management based on our interpretation. Okay, so that's one of our key roles. So short-term decision making, we said, is decisions that relates to periods that are within 1 year. Okay, any periods more than 1 year are called long-term decisions in accounting. Okay, so we looked at contribution analysis. We know what contribution is. Contribution is the difference between marginal revenue and marginal cost. Okay, we say this is very useful in decision making because it's the core, it is the clean profit that we look at. So contribution is like a clean profit. Okay, because we all agreed that fixed cost is everybody's business. So in order to take most short-term decision making, what we look at is not the profit, but the contribution. We went on to look at make or buy decision. Just like Mr. Njai rightly said, do we make a product in-house or do we buy it from an outside supplier? So what we consider is we consider the marginal cost of making, that is any variable cost plus any relevant cost, including directly attributable fixed costs. So we look at marginal cost of making versus marginal cost of buying. In other words, the purchase price. So if the purchase price includes things like expenses that will bring the product to the premises of the business, like transport cost, delivery cost, unloading and offloading, all those will be included in the purchase price. Okay, so this is what we looked at. So today, of course, we're going to continue with make or buy decision, or we're going to look at another example, which is a bit more complicated compared to the last, what we looked at the last time. Is that clear, everybody? Are we good to go?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So we're going to look at example 3, which is called Central Limited. If you have not got this example, please, I'll give you time to screenshot it. Okay, screenshot it now, because when we are answering it, we're not going to project it. We're going to project our spreadsheet. Okay, so make sure you screenshot it and have it handy when we are answering it. Okay, is that clear, everyone? Is that clear? Are you getting me? I think you need to respond quickly because I want to make sure at any point in time I'm communicating with you. So if I ask a question, please answer me. Let someone answer me so I know that I'm communicating. Because it's network. Sometimes you may have some issues with network. Sure that I'm communicating all the time. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so let's look at the question. Let me read it just to make sure the rest of you screenshot it. And if someone can screenshot it and send it to the group, that would be good. Screenshot it and send it to the WhatsApp group so that the others can look at it whilst we answer it. Okay. So Central Limited makes 4 components: component W, X, Y, and Z, for which costs in the coming year are expected to be as follows. Component W, X, Y, and Z. Production units, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 3,000. Unit marginal cost, direct material, direct labor, variable production overheads. Then we have total variable cost of 14, 17, 7, and 12. Direct attributable fixed cost per annum and committed fixed cost. Okay, take note of this. Directly attributable fixed costs are relevant costs. Why are they relevant? Because you can trace them to the product. Okay, so incurred as a direct consequence of making W. So this is a fixed cost that is incurred as a direct consequence of making W. 1,000, so it should be considered for X, for Y, and for Z. And then it says other fixed costs committed. Okay, take note, the committed fixed cost is a general fixed cost. Okay, and as such, it is not relevant because it is not directly traceable to any particular product. Okay, is that clear? So it goes further. A subcontractor has offered to supply units of W, X, Y, and Z for £12, £21, £10, and £14 respectively. So what is this? What are these prices they're talking about? What are these prices? Let's answer quickly, please. Let's answer quickly. What are these prices?
Purchase prices.
Okay, so these are purchase prices that an outside supplier is gonna charge the business. Correct. Okay, so now we can go and answer the question. Any questions, please, as to your understanding of this case? Any question, please? Okay, good. So I assume we can continue. So I'm going to project the spreadsheet. That's the accounting for short-term decision making. Okay, can you see it? Everybody, can you see my spreadsheet clearly? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So we're going to look at, we're going to answer this question, example 3, that's Central Limited. Right, so first, let's do our format. Let's do our format. Okay, so I'm going to create a worksheet. I just click on plus, then I just call it EG3. EG3. Done. Okay, and what is the heading? It's a company called Central Limited. Central Limited. Okay. And what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to produce a make or buy decision statement. So the name of the statement will be a make stroke buy decision statement. So this is the statement we're trying to produce. Okay, so we have 4 products. So the first column, we're going to leave it for our details. Then we start with our first product, which is W, X, Y, sorry, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay, so let's format them so that they can be aligned to the right. So we highlight them, we click on the alignment to the right. Okay, and I think we can just format it with 1,000 separator whilst we're still on the highlight. Then we click on format, number, and then we choose financial. Okay, and it is at 2dp, so we just remove the 2dp. Right. Okay, so this is our format. It's really important to make a good format. Okay, because when you have a good format, even without you entering anything there, at least it could earn you half a mark, maybe quarter of a mark. And sometimes if the examiner is is in a very good mood, can give you 1 mark. Okay, so it's really good to give your answer a very good layout. Okay, and it makes the answering of the question a lot easier for you, so that you don't get confused. Okay, is that clear, everyone? So, what are we going to do? Do you understand the requirement of the question? Do you? Balamin Davo. Balamin, are you with us? Balamin? Balamin, are you with us? Basin Sala. Basin?
Yes, Mr. Governor.
Yes, Basin. So, do you understand the requirement of the question? Um,
Yeah, we should produce a statement
sorry?
of the make or we should produce a statement of the make or buy component.
Make or buy decision. Yes. So, we need to advise management as to whether we can make each of the products or we can buy it from an outside supplier. So, first, what do we do in order to advise management? What's the first thing we do? What's the first step, Basim? We need to look at how much is going to cost us marginally to make in-house. Is that not the case, Basim? So first, we need to check how much is going to cost us marginally. That's the marginal cost. When I talk about marginal cost, it means all variable costs plus all relevant fixed costs. Okay? So the relevant fixed costs are the directly attributable fixed costs, and those are given in this question. So in order to answer this question properly, we need to look at the variable costs and the directly attributable fixed costs. We compare it to what? We compare it to what? Who is talking, Yusufa?
We compare it to the Batu.
Yes, Batu, yes. We
Hello?
compare it to, yes, Batu, you're
Yes.
online. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. You compare it with the purchase price.
We compare it to an outside supplier's purchase price. Excellent. Good. Thank you, Batu. So that's the essence of the whole question, because it's really important that you understand what your requirement is before you answer it. Okay? So good. So we will start with the variable cost first, isn't it? So we say unit variable cost of making. So I just come here and say unit, I just say VC for variable cost, okay, of making. Okay, I expand this a bit so I can have more space. So what are the unit variable cost of making for each of the products? W, can you give me quickly from your question?
14.
14, Yes. Quickly.
17 for X.
17.
7 for Y.
And 12 for Z. Okay, excellent. Okay, I don't want the two decimal places, so I'm just going to highlight it and remove the two decimal places. So I highlight it, okay? In order to remove the two decimal places, I highlight it, I click this decimal place, decrease decimal place, placeholder. Just click here once, click here. All the decimals have disappeared. Okay, so the unit variable cost of making are 14, 17, 7, and 12, respectively. And we need to express this in their full amounts. So what are the units of each of the products that we are considering? What are the units? The annual units.
1,000 for W.
Okay, 1,000 for W.
2,000 for X.
2,000 for X.
4,000 for Y.
4,000 for Y.
And 3,000 for Z.
And 3,000 for Z. Excellent. So now, if we want to find the total variable costs, what should we do? Total VC. The total variable cost, what should we do? If we want to find the total variable cost, what should we do? Kumba Fayinke. Kumba, are you with us?
You multiply.
I'm trying to wake some people up. You know, it's raining in my area here. I don't know whether it's raining in other places. I want to make sure that they're in class, not to just sign in and go and sleep. Kumba, are you with us?
It's raining in Parapenya also.
Oh wow, okay, good. I'm not at the office today. I'm home. I'm doing it from the house, but it's raining here as well. Hadi Job, Hadi, are you with us? Hadi S. Jalo. Okay, can someone just try? Quickly, let's move. So what should we do?
We multiply.
You multiply.
You multiply the unit variable cost
By the total annual units. Excellent. So let's have the formula. What's the formula, please? Give me the formula.
Equals.
Equals,
We multiply C8.
C8 multiplied by C9, yeah? Enter. Okay, so what do? We replicate, we copy across. So we have total variable cost of 14 for W, 34 for X, 28 for Y, and 36 for Z. Excellent. So is that the only cost as far as we're concerned? Is that the only relevant cost of making? Do we have any other
No,
relevant
no,
cost of
no.
making?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, yes. Yes, we have.
yes.
Okay, what's that?
But the direct fixed costs that are actually attributable.
The fixed cost,
Okay.
that's not attributable.
Okay, the directly attributable fixed cost. Excellent. So we say directly attributable FC. Okay, so directly attributable fixed costs. Okay, they've been given in the question, isn't it? Yeah, what are they? Directly attributable fixed costs.
1,000 for double,
1,000. Mm-hmm.
5,000 for
5 for
X,
X.
6,000 for Y,
6,000 for Y.
and 8,000 for Z.
And 8,000 for Z. All these have been given in the question on the plate. Okay? Right. So do we have any other cost of making? Yes, we have the committed fixed cost. Should we put it here? The committed fixed cost? Should we put the committed fixed cost here?
No, I don't think so.
No.
No, it's general.
No, because it is a sunk cost. It is a general fixed cost. It is a fixed cost that is for everybody. And they say what belongs to everybody belongs to no one. But it should belong to everybody. What belongs to everybody should belong to everybody. Huh? Okay, so it's not considered here. It is sunk as far as decision here is concerned, as far as our advice is concerned here. Okay, so now what we have, these two numbers are our total relevant cost of making. So total relevant cost of making. Okay, our total relevant cost of making. So the making is splitting over here. What I want to do is I want to make sure everything fit here. I don't want to expand this. What should I do? Let's learn some spreadsheet skills as well. What should I do? Cham? I have total relevant cost of making going over to column C. What I want to do is I want to make sure it all fits under column B without expanding column B. What should I do?
You shorten the relevance.
I what?
You shorten the relevance.
No, I don't want to shorten anything. But I want it to fit in the cell. I don't want to shorten it.
Okay, I understand. Okay.
So what should I do? Can someone help me? What should I do?
Double click between B and C and drag.
No, I don't. If I double click between B and C and drag, I'm expanding it. I say I don't want to expand column B. Did you hear that?
Mr. Bavana?
Yes.
Yeah, last class we did this. Unless I refer to the video, I forgot what the name is, but I was like exactly what you mean is like this total relevant because you want to write it in such a way that like it will be like maybe one line and then half, whereby it will all be within one particular area. We did this last class.
Good. Yes. So how do you call it? How do you do it?
I forgot the name.
But at least you have the you have the gist of it. Okay, good. So can someone help us what to do? This is really important because those in practice will tell you this. Accountants find it very, 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 very difficult managing their spreadsheet, especially if it is too big. you know, if you want to print it, hey, it becomes a problem because there are little skills that they need to learn. They don't know them. Okay? So it's really important that you know things like this. So can someone help? Otherwise, we just go for it, yeah? What do we do? Okay, so what we do is we are going to wrap. Okay, so we're going to wrap. So in order to wrap, we're going to highlight the whole of column B. Okay, we highlight the whole of column B and then go to format where it says text wrapping. Okay, at the moment it's on overflow, that's the default. Then when we wrap, it's just like when you go to the shop, you buy sugar. I mean, you can't just hold sugar in your hand like that. The shopkeeper has to put it in paper for you and wrap it. Even in that paper, he has to wrap it in such a way that it can be able to contain the sugar so that the sugar does not spill all over the place. So the same concept here. So we wrap. So we go to format. Okay, first you highlight the area you want to wrap. Okay, if I want, I can wrap only this text here, but I want the whole of column B because the whole of my column B is my details column. So I want to ensure that if there are any long text, it can just be wrapped and is contained within the required area. Okay, so I just go to click on column B, I go to format, I say text wrapping, I select wrap. Look at what happened. Can you see? Have I expanded column B?
No.
Okay, excellent. So this is the way we wrap our text so that it fits nicely in where you want it to fit. Okay, so we have our total relevant column making. So we need to add them. So we do an equal sum, bracket opens. So we're going to add the total variable cost with what? With the directly attributable fixed cost. So we close our bracket, we enter, so we replicate. Okay, is that clear, everyone? I'm going to make this bold a bit. Mr. Jawara, I don't know what's... please. Mr. Jawara, your line is not good at all. Can you mute yourself, please? Okay, so we have our total relevant cost of as 15,000, 39,000, 34,000, and 44,000. So what's the next step? What should we do next? What should we do next? Before that, let me just expand this. Look at this. There are a lot of spaces in between here. Look at it. All these are spaces. All these are spaces. So I want to make sure that I auto fit all the text here. So what should I do? In order to auto fit all the text, what you do is you highlight on all the columns that are affected, and then you double click on the border between any of them. You can either double click here, or any other place. You can double click here. Once you double click, it nicely fits into it. Look at this. Is this good? Okay. Are you following class?
Yes.
Okay. So we could just call these products. I need to do it again. Okay, fine. Just undo. Just undo. Okay. So it was like this. So like I said, a lot of spaces here. Let's assume that we have more products. Well, if we add more products, it's going to be difficult to print this because the sheet will be big. But if we look, there's no point for the sheet to be too big because look at all these spaces here. You know, the largest content of the cell is from 15,000. So all the spaces before one like this, like this, like this, like this, it's just wasted. So in order to ensure that the content of the cell automatically fits in there, you highlight the columns that are affected. Okay, can you see, just like I've highlighted from C to F? Then in order to auto fit this, I have to double click between any of the two columns that have been highlighted, between C and D, between D and E, or between E and F. Any of them will do. So like I want to double click between E and F, I can just move my cursor here, then I double click. So once I double click, look at it, it has auto expanded. Okay, is that clear, everybody?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we're going to make these headings also so that they can be nicely centered between here. Let's do some cosmetics. So we highlight here. Okay, so we're going to merge the cells and we're going to center this. Okay, and we're going to make it bold and we're going to increase the font size to 24 and we're going to change this font color to blue. Then these other headings, we're going to do the same thing. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. So in order to go after every process, so what I will do is I'll just replicate the process that I have here on here. So I just click on this and then I use the paint format. Click paint format once and then I come and click where I want this format to be replicated. So I just come here and click here once. See, everything has been replicated. Okay, the format here is the same format that is here. Okay, but I want to change this a bit. One, I want to reduce the font size to 14, and instead of blue text, I'm going to do a blue background with white text. So I have white text, blue background. Okay, so I have something like this. Is that okay, class?
Yes.
Okay, so far so good. Do you understand everything that I've done? If you need any clarification, let me know before we proceed. If you were my boss, are you not going to like my presentation?
No, definitely.
Definitely. Okay, so good. So now we're done with one part. That's the relevant cost of making. So next we move to relevant cost of buying. Okay, so we move to relevant cost of buying. So we have our relevant cost of buying. So what's the first thing we look at?
You need variable cost of buying.
We need the variable cost of buying, which is the purchase price. Okay, so we have variable cost of buying. In other words, our purchase price. Look at this, I've entered it, is going over. Once I click enter, look at it, it has nicely wrapped it for us. Can you see this? See how important this is? Okay, so variable cost of buying or purchase price. Give me the purchase price, please.
It's 12.
Huh?
12.
12.
For W is 12,
21.
21, good,
10.
10,
And 14. 14.
and 14. Good. Thank you, Blessing. And 14. Yeah, good. So we know our annual units is the same. We know our annual units is the same. Okay. So what I want is, you know, we are here, but we still need our heading, you know, like this and that. How do we make sure we maintain our heading on top? How do we make sure we maintain our heading up as we come here? Okay, just quickly, what you do is you go to your view menu, and then you freeze the rows up to where you indicate. So let's say we want to freeze the rows up to column 6. So we first click on row 6. So we click on row 6, then we go to view, we say freeze, and we say up to current row 6. So we click up to current row 6, so that if we come down as what, our top part up to row 6 will be on top for us. Can you see this? We freeze in Excel, it's called freeze panes. Okay. Please make sure you attend classes. Watching videos will not make you, it won't give you the required understanding that you need for this course. Like I said, I'm not only teaching you MA3 to pass your exam, but I'm trying to prepare you for a better career. Okay, I'm trying to prepare you for a better career, because as accountants, we can't move without spreadsheet. We can't. Okay, we can't. Right. So we've already frozen our panes on top, so we can just come down. Anywhere we go, our headings will all be displayed for us. Good. So that makes life a lot easier for us. So we want to find the total cost of buying. So the total cost of buying. So we just say total cost of buying. Okay. So how should we find the total cost of buying? Can someone give me a formula, please? We already have annual units here. We have our buying price per unit here. So what should we do? Basil?
Equals to?
Okay, I say equals to,
C16.
C?
C16.
16.
Yes.
You
How much
multiply
is
it by
15, sorry. 15,
yeah,
sorry,
annual
15.
unit.
C,
Okay,
C15 multiplied by, can you please scroll up?
yes, good.
The annual unit, C9.
9, excellent, excellent. Then I enter, then I just duplicate, isn't it?
You can, yes.
Excellent, good. Thank you, Basil. So easily, just calculate one and then the other one copy and paste across or replicate. So the total cost of buying are 12,000, 42,000, 40,000, and 42,000, isn't it? 12, 42, 40, 42. So let's make that bold as well. So we don't have to go and find bold here, but what we can do is we just click on 12. We use the pane format and click here so that it gives us the same format as we have on the first part. Okay? So now we have to look at this and try to advise. So what will be the savings or the extra cost if we have to buy? So we say savings or extra cost of buying. Okay. So the savings or the extra cost of buying. So when we look at the first one, it's going to cost us 15,000 to make in-house, but it's going to cost us 12,000 if we buy. So are we going to make a savings if we buy, or are we going to make an extra cost if we buy? We're going to buy at 12 and make at 15. if we buy, are we going to make savings or are we going to incur extra cost? Huh?
Make sales. Make sales.
Yes.
Make savings.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, excellent.
No,
So
we're
we
going to
can
make
do
a
our
saving.
formula. We say equals buying.
We'll make a saving.
Yes. Okay. We're going to make a savings. So we can just say equals, we get this, minus 12,000, enter. So if we buy, we're going to make a savings of 3,000. Okay. And the extra cost will be in bracket if we have to make, if we have to incur extra costs when we buy. Okay. So we can replicate the formula. Right. So for X is going to cost us 39,000 to make and 42,000 to buy. So if we want to buy, we're going to lose 3,000. So we're going to pay extra of 3,000. Okay. So for Y, it's going to cost us 34,000 to make and 40,000 to buy. So if we want to buy, we're going to lose by 6,000, isn't it? Okay, because it's cheaper, 34,000 to make. So for product X, 44,000 to make and 42,000 to buy. So it's going to be cheaper by 2,000 if we have to buy. Okay, so what's the decision? So we can do our decision. Okay, so the first one, are we going to buy or are we going to make?
We buy.
We're going to buy because it's cheaper to buy. Okay, so we're going to do a conditional formula here. Can someone help me to do a conditional formula here to say buy or make? Equals if, yes. Okay, let's do it. So we say equals, we agree that if we have a positive here, then that means we should buy because it will be cheaper to buy, isn't it? If we have a negative here, we should what? We should make. So what we're going to do is we're going to say equals if this number, okay, we're going to say if this number, which is our answer, is greater than 1, comma, what should we do? If it is greater than 1, means if it is positive, what should we do? What should we do?
Comma.
We buy.
We're going to buy. Excellent. So we make sure we have our inverted comma open and close. So the last part of the formula is if it is less than 1. Okay, what should we do? We make. Okay, closes, enter. So the first one we buy, and we replicate make, buy. So it's buy, make. Is that so? Okay. Buy, make, buy. Okay, is that correct? Everybody, class?
Yes.
Okay, so it's simple. Simple. We know naturally for Z, 44,000 is the making price and 42,000 is buying price. It's cheaper to buy. It's cheaper by 2,000, we buy. For product Y, it's costing 34,000 to make and 40,000 to buy. Naturally, 40,000 compared to 34, it is cheaper to make. It's cheaper by what? 6,000, and therefore we make. Okay? So this is the way we answer our make or buy questions. Usually in exams, they may not come alone. They usually come mixed with the limiting factor. Okay, so we're going to look at limiting factor. But before we look at limiting factor, we're first going to look at the shutdown decision. So any questions on this before we move to shutdown decision?